This is a public service announcement targeting the youth's perspective of how we can find common ground between mental health and mental illness. Our objective is to break down the walls of stigma in the most effective way: communication. Today, we will hear the personal opinion on the heavy subject and how it ties into the lives of our participants.
My biggest obstacle is that I keep my feelings inside and I don't tell anybody how I'm feeling when I'm feeling it, and it causes me to feel really alone and like nobody understands me.
My biggest obstacle is fighting the depression. At times I feel unaccomplished because over the past 3 years I've been fighting schizophrenia. And at times I wake up, and it's hard for me to push myself to wake up because of the depression and everything.
I became aware of the difference between mental health and mental illness when I was 15 because my best friend was going through really bad depression, and I watched as her mental health got worse. It caused her mental illness to get worse.
It was about the age of 17, and that was pretty much like a year ago. It wasn't really an individual experience. It was just over time, after dealing with the mental illness itself, I became used to it and I was able to adapt, and I understood what was going on when I became more comfortable with myself. And then I also accepted that I was different from everybody. I didn't have to tell myself that I didn't have to fight to try to be normal, because it seemed like for a long time I was trying to fight to prove to myself that I was just like everybody else. I actually am disabled, with a disability, and it's not that I accept it, and I let it take control of me, but I know what I have to do to fight it.
Yes, after I was in the hospital for severe depression, my parents, they feel that it's not anybody's business outside of our family to know what I've gone through, but I think that people need to be aware of how severe the problem how severe it can get and how people can feel afterwards.
A lot of my friends don't understand what's going on with me. Over time, they isolated themselves from me, and that's when I had to be alone for a moment in order to get done what I need to get done. In order for me to be somebody, I had to become one of them to be seen, and I didn't really adapt my own personality until about high school. I just feel like I didn't know who I was anymore. And that's what happens when it comes to peer pressure and you try to act like everybody else. You don't know who you are. And when it hit me, I was gone for I'd say 15, 30 minutes straight, and I came back and looked up at the stars. I ended up losing myself for a second. And then when I came back, I wasn't really the same.
The past 3 years, I've been severely depressed, and my depression was so bad that I was actually hospitalized. So my mental health, it caused me to have a severe mental illness.
There's already counseling, you have your counselors at school. A lot of people aren't really informed that your counselors are there for more than just academic purposes. Find inside help, as far as your family and friends, and if you can't find help there, find outside help, with your counselors at school or any other staff at school.
I think that me talking to somebody and expressing how I felt, or just people asking me how I was feeling and listening to how I felt, could have prevented it. 2 years from now, I believe steps that need to be taken would be like television, broadcasting, like advertisements on mental health issues, and also required classes in high schools for teenagers to learn about mental illnesses and what they can do to prevent them or help people that have mental illnesses, because people need to be aware of this topic.
Our problems we face every day usually are most important to us. Some may possess the skill of empathy, but most of us are simply too drained by our own personal issues to be able to completely comprehend another human being's personal obstacles. There's a fine line between mental health and mental illness that has been blurred with stigma and secrecy.